Hey guys, today we are going to be talking all about the possibility of Marinette being akumatized this season, and more specifically in episode 22 of season 4 and or the 100th episode of Miraculous. But as always, before we get into today's video, be sure to subscribe so you never miss the tea on the show you love. Now, let's get into it. So if you didn't already know, episode 22 of season 4 is set to be necessary to watch and or an extremely important episode. And ever since we received the title for episode 21 of season 4, Dearest Family, which comes just before the 100th episode, it's began to lead me to believe that we could see Marinette akumatized this season. This season, episodes have had a tendency of somewhat being paired with one another, whether it be the one to come before or after them. For example, Truth and Lies, Soul Crusher and Queen Banana, Guilt Trip and Crocodile, etc. And considering it's been confirmed that in the episode Dearest Family, both Tom and Sabine will be akumatized, this is not only a direct attack onto Marinette's loved ones and or parents, but the last time we ever saw both Marinette and Sabine get even close to becoming fully akumatized, they were together. And again, relating back to the pairing of previous episodes we've seen this season, if the episode that comes just before 22 focuses on Marinette's parents, then the possibility of this next episode being a direct attack onto Marinette again, yet this time being successful, is extremely possible. Now, the other day, Ezra shared this video on his TikTok where he goes to say, "I am watching the most intense, the most devastating, amazing, insane, unbelievable Miraculous Ladybug episode ever." And you guys, I know I'm not the only one who's thinking he could be talking about episode 22, and the fact he goes to say most devastating, what could be more devastating than Cat Blanc, Cat Noir becoming akumatized, his own Milady becoming akumatized, and or Princess Justice? And guys, the fact that Cat Blanc was set to be episode 22 of season 3, and if Marinette got akumatized this episode, it would be the 22nd of season 4. Now, something that I've also been taking into consideration this season is how much has been happening within such a short amount of time, and or the 14 episodes we've seen this season. And now, when I say how much has been happening, I'm mainly talking about how many people have received Miraculouses this season. As I mentioned in my previous video, while we've already seen Vesperia, Pigella, Purple Tigress, Polymouse, it doesn't stop there, as we've yet to be introduced to the 4 other holders to be confirmed to make an appearance this season. And comparing this season to previous ones where we would tend to get 2 to 3 new heroes introduced, this is insane. Either this could be leading to all of the heroes being used in this season for finale, as in the synopsis it goes to say a supervillain able to make his victims take all sorts of risk. A huge risk possibly being all of the Miraculouses in circulation at once, or because once Marinette becomes Princess Justice and or akumatized, she's going to be so powerful to the point where every hero is going to be needed in an attempt to save her. So if Marinette were to get akumatized, another huge risk that would come with it all is her identity being revealed and on the line. However, somehow, some way, I believe Marinette's identity would be safe. As we've seen before, while of course we have Bunnix, which by the way, we've yet to see make an appearance this season, there's also Alia. Could you imagine Alia is the one to give Alex her Miraculous? We hear Marinette say to Alia in Optigami that moving forward, she'd have to tell her everything. Would that have meant that Alia is aware of Alex's future and or her becoming Bunnix? In Cat Blanc, we hear Bunnix say, "That's the reason you picked me, Minibug. I know how to keep a secret." So considering she says, "You picked me," ultimately that would leave us to believe Marinette will be the one to hand her the Miraculous, but the chance of Alia having to hand it to her in secret, not only would Alex have to keep one secret, but 2. Another thing to know is that not too too long ago, in a post Linda Lee shared on her Instagram, we got a bunch of sneak peeks and teasers to upcoming concept art we could be expecting to see this season, and many of which were blurred, but the most eye-catching one to be the one in the very center. Many, including myself, believe this could be Alia because of the hair and the stance, but the question is, why would she be wearing a red suit? Ultimately, this has led me to question the possibility of us seeing Alia use the Ladybug Miraculous this season, which I do believe to be very possible, and it makes me wonder why it would be that Marinette wouldn't have her Miraculous on her at all times. As we've seen in episodes such as Reflectall, both her and Adrien learned their lessons, so this would have to be a case in which Alia was purposely handed her earrings, whether it be from Marinette herself or even possibly Tiki. Now, let's also take a look back at another episode in which Marinette's identity was on the line. In Kwame Buster, to save herself, she was forced to create an illusion of herself as Ladybug and Marinette to convince Cat Noir that the possibility of Marinette being Ladybug wasn't possible. In Senti Bubbler, for Alia to protect her identity moving forward, she as well had to create an illusion. So with that being said, the chances of Alia and or Rena Furtive having to once again create a complex illusion plan is very much possible. Mind you, we also haven't been seeing her much after Rocketeer, which of course is reasonable considering, like other holders, they're not always necessary in certain battles, but could this also be foreshadowing that, like the position Lila is in right now, she has to stay on the down low and keep quiet because she most likely will be playing a huge role in the finale and possibly upcoming episodes, as Alia could be for a huge upcoming episode and possibly when comes time to save Marinette. Now, speaking about Lila, as I had mentioned in a previous video, Lila and Gabriel have had an alliance with one another since season 3, and as seen in the episode Ladybug, Lila's promise to Gabriel would have been to Akumatize Marinette that day, and considering she wasn't successful the first time, this time they, as in Lila, is only planning an even bigger bomb to drop this season, and I'm curious to see what lies she comes up with this time, and how the people around her will react, including Alia. Because if we look at previous episodes such as Chameleon and Cat Blanc, both which we almost see Marinette become akumatized in, the only things from stopping her is the ones in which she surrounds herself with, and or those that support her most. In these cases, Tiki and Adrien. But as for the episode Ladybug, not only did her parents lose hope in her, but so did all of her friends. Alia seemed to be more in shock even though she trusted her, and while of course Adrien attempted to speak up, he ultimately was shut down by Mr. Damocles, leaving Tiki to be her last hope, which was almost impossible considering it would have ended up revealing her secret identity. And so now, one of the last people Marinette and or Ladybug really has to trust in her support group is Cat Noir. However, we don't exactly know where he is emotionally and mentally. In Wishmaker, we see Adrien willingly just accept that his time as Cat Noir might be running out, but to me, that is not the angst I'm expecting. I'm expecting to see more, and why? Because I believe that Ladybug finding out Cat Noir no longer trusts her will be her final straw, just as we saw when it was the other way around in the New York special. But as always, what do you guys think? This upcoming episode is going to be huge, and while Marinette being akumatized one day will be terrifying, I'm honestly all here for it. I mean, the power she's going to hold will be unreal, and ultimately, it's going to make for an incredible episode. But as always, be sure to let me know your thoughts and theories down below, and subscribe so you never miss the tea on the show you love, and I'll see you guys in the next one.